start talking and see what happens. If I just begin to ramble, I'm sure things will happen. Hello and good morning. My name is Cody, also known as Just Two Eyes, and welcome to VEDA Video Every Day in August, Day 5. And it didn't hit me till just now, but in yesterday's Minecraft video, I said video every day in April. It's a habit. I'll work through it. I'm pretty sure by the 10th I'll have this down pat. But today, I've made a lot of videos about Pokemon in my time on YouTube. I've made videos about how Pokemon Go can be world peace if they actually did it the way I talked about in the videos. Really good video. Check it out. A lot of views. I'm rich. I'm not. Also made videos about, if Pokemon were real, the food aspect of that. Because if Pokemon were real and they were the only animals on the planet, we'd eat them. And how would that work? I made a video about that. I made a video about how Ash Ketchum is objectively the worst Pokemon trainer ever. Made a video about that. Made a video about my favorite Pokemon, Dragonite, and what's the best starter Pokemon in my opinion for the first generation, which is Bulbasaur, because he can defeat the first two gyms alone. Things like that. But today, I was thinking about Pokemon, and I was like, what is this video going to be about? Like, what else can I talk about in the Pokemon world? And then, not too long ago, Game Theory, not only Matt Pat, but also Austin, who does the science of things, talked about, like, Pokeballs and how they work. And it made me think the rules of Pokemon, because we don't really know, like, the rules. We don't know the ins and outs of every little thing. Like, we know to be a Pokemon trainer, you have to be 10 at least. Then you also, Pokeballs catch Pokemon, and if you get over 6, they get teleported to your local computer or PC or professor who holds Pokemon and whatever that entails. And we know that you need 8 badges to proceed to the Pokemon League to defeat the Elite Four to become the Pokemon champion. And blah, blah, blah. We know these things. And of course, between the shows and video games, some rules tend to blur together. So I was thinking, what about the more specific things in the world of Pokemon? Like, not only if Pokemon were real, how would our rules affect them, but things we have questions about. Well, things I have questions about in the world of Pokemon that they never, ever, ever talk about. So let's get into that. And by the by, this is not a list at all. So don't be like, this is top 5. Like, no, just me talking about things. The thing that pops to my mind is the boundaries of Pokemon. Like, what territories or what areas are Pokemon in? Like, of course, each Pokemon is specific to a certain region if they fit that type, like grass and grasslands, fire and high places, water Pokemon and the water, of course, and things like that. But in those certain areas, like all the regions, because I was thinking about the Safari Zone and how that's, blocked off. And how did they even get the Pokemon into the Safari Zone? They weren't there. The Safari Zone was built, then put into sections, and then these Pokemon were put into those sections. So where did those Pokemon come from? Of course, you can take a guess of like where certain Pokemon came from. It means that they went out to go capture. No, they couldn't have captured the Pokemon because you can't take another trainer's Pokemon. So how did they get those Pokemon into the Safari Zone? That's a really good question, actually. Did they like round them up, cowboy style, and stick them with a poker or whip them or something? I'm thinking about this from a real world aspect, because in the Pokemon aspect, in the show or in the game, you kind of coerce Pokemon into doing things, but it's not always how it works. You know what I'm saying? And in the logic of the video game, you level up. So of course, you start off in an area that's around your level, and you don't really run into like super high level Pokemon. Even though from real world aspect, if you were a beginner trainer, there's a very high chance you could run into a very powerful Pokemon who's just out and about, which is something I've always kind of wanted to see, and something that always kind of intrigued me, and something I would love to see if they could ever fucking come up with a proper Pokemon MMO, which is I'm going to talk about around the end of the video, because that's something that's always been on my mind. How pure is water from a water Pokemon? Honestly, like how drinkable is that? Because does it do damage by force, which means that, you know, it's kind of weird. Like, does the actual DNA from the water Pokemon mixed into the water, is that what damages a fire Pokemon? Because I think a fire Pokemon can just take regular water to the face. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure in one version or another, I've seen a fire Pokemon kind of like get wet without like any physical, like, oh god, it just burns kind of damage. I'm pretty sure, I think. And it makes me think, like, or are they like completely against it? Like, is the actual elemental like reverse or weakness, like, you know, kind of like kryptonite, like just being around it affects them? Things like that I think about. Like, can a Squirtle, you know, fill up a cup and can I drink it, or will it like harm me, or is it just against other Pokemon? Because throughout the show, you've seen that a lot of Pokemons, whatever the plural of Pokemon is, or is Pokemon the plural of Pokemon, like Lego is Lego. Anyway, that when Ash, good example, I mean, if he's been like shocked or set on fire or whatever, he's still like okay. I mean, it stings, but it doesn't like really hurt. You know what I mean? So, are we more defensible against these attacks? Are they not as strong? Are the Pokemon kind of holding back? Because, you know, when Charizard does his flamethrower against the Pokemon, that Pokemon is fucked. But when he does it against Ash, it's like, oh, ooh, I'm a little singed, but I'm cool. Like, I'm pretty you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure Charizard or any Pokemon can like affect the damage of how much they let out. You know, it's like if you do a full punch or half punch to that effect. But it does seem like we're more resistant to Pokemon attacks. But at the same time, I don't think we are. You would think something like that would just insta kill, devastate, even if it's at half power or like 25%. But it's a cartoon, and I know I'm thinking too much into it, but that's what I do, okay? That's what I do. But let's talk about this Pokemon MMO idea. I've always had this idea in my head for like the longest time, like for fucking ever. And it's if I can actually get like the money, the proper powered enough PC, and the not the rights. I'm never going to get the rights to Pokemon, or even like a half off license. That's why Pokemon Uranium got shut down so quick, even though it's a beautiful, amazing fucking game, by the way. If I could like do like an off-brand Pokemon game, I would, believe me. But the idea is, it's an MMO, and you start off as a 10-year-old, and as you progress through the game, you do age as in real time. Like the game, I guess, yeah, the game could work in real time, maybe, or at least half time, so that way you can experience like at least what feels like a full day and a full night, instead of how most games night and day cycle, just cycle like, you know, like that. But, and not from the top down like a lot of Pokemon games, but I mean like from, you know, eye level point of view, like a lot of regular MMOs that the camera's in third person behind you, and of course you can adjust it. And you start off in a town, and you get to pick what town you start off in, by the way. You get to pick what region, what town, and, you know, of course, you, in each region, it is kind of a shame that each region only has one professor, you know, so we might have to, like, up that a little bit. And it's made beautifully. Like, it's made, you know, shell colored or whatever you want to call it. Me personally, I was thinking about having it kind of in the realm of Borderlands, that type of look, with, you know, but in Pokemon from a third person or first person point of view. And Pokemon battles, the biggest thing in this for me would be Pokemon battles. I mean, of course, you go from town to town, you do little quests like, you know, hey, go save my whatever, my Pokemon ran off to the forest, could you go save it for me? Or gyms would be the shit, because then gyms, I get in the gyms after I get in the battle, so I'm getting ahead of myself. But it would have like kind of the normal tropes of an MMO, you know, quests, retrieval, fetch missions, of Of course, you can go grind and level up your Pokemon and things like that. But Pokemon battles would be in kind of in Yu-Gi-Oh, like the original Yu-Gi-Oh when he got to Battle City. I know this might be super obscure for some of you younger viewers, but that when you get that you can challenge, like in a lot of MMOs, you can challenge another person to a Pokemon battle, and then your area is blocked off. Like it doesn't teleport you somewhere, anything like that. Like it creates a circle, a big enough circle. You stand on one side, your opponent stands on the other, and you send out your Pokemon. And once you send out your Pokemon, it doesn't break down like use this, use that. No, you take full control of your Pokemon. Like it zooms down to third person of the Pokemon. Kind of like Pokeen, which is Pokemon Tekken. I think that's the name of it. Where you control every little bit. Like you can run around, you can lock on to the other Pokemon while you're running around. And let's say you have Bulbasaur, and I'm going to use my Xbox 360 controller. You run around, you lock on, you can move around the camera, Vine Whip, Razor Leaf, Leech Seed, things like that. And each button, as many times as you can tap, it does a thing. And of course, it has its own like energy. Like the PP, that's what it is. Like it's not as many times as you can use it. It's skill based, kind of like in like let's Skyrim or so. Like the more you use it, the more powerful it becomes, and the more often you can do it. So it's based like that. Like if you start off with just 10, you can use it 10 times in one battle. But once you level up, or once it levels up, because I want to have the attacks separate from the Pokemon's actual level, that the more you use it, like it goes from 10 to like 12, 14, however the system is going to work. And that way is based more on not only your Pokemon level and skill, but how quickly you can dodge and move. With tackle is actually tackle. You have to like hold the button and charge. It's not just hold it, you shoulder check them. You hold it, you charge, and if they dodge, they dodge. If they don't, they don't. And it also depends on how fast your Pokemon is, which, like I want full control of the battle, of the Pokemon and the one I'm against. And then it really plays into like status effects. Like if you use slow or sleep or blind or tail whip to bring down their defense, like it actually affects the Pokemon and the way you control and the way you move. I like that idea. And then Pokemon gyms can either be built, like if you have enough money, you can actually make your own Pokemon gym and recruit NPCs or player characters. Like your friends can come and be a Pokemon trainer, a Pokemon gym trainer in your gym. Or you have to go through like a certain set of requirements to take a gym from already established gym leader. Maybe, because already established gym leaders, they're kind of a staple in the Pokemon game. So I think it might just be you build your own gym, which it sounds amazing, doesn't it? Right? To me it does. And legendary Pokemon would be an event. Like, in a lot of MMO games when it's like let's use what's a good game? Neverwinter. Yeah, the Dungeons & Dragons Neverwinter game. How there's certain like dragons that show up at certain times. It'll be like that for Pokemon, where everybody in that area is alerted and is let known that, hey, this Pokemon is going to be here in a little bit. Because legendary Pokemon, or at least the 3 legendary birds in the beginning, they have their own weather effects. And because I would put weather into the game, there would be meteorologists. They could be like, hey, we got an ice storm coming. Most likely that's Articuno. So get ready in this region for like a blizzard to come by. Make sure you get your coats. And it'd be like a weather channel in Pokemon that you could check to keep track of certain legendary Pokemon if they have weather effects, that affect like large areas. That would be amazing. I know I'm such a fucking nerd and I love Pokemon to death. I do. So what are some ideas and questions and things that you have about Pokemon? But that'll be that. So if you like what I'm doing, you want to see what else I'm doing, let me know what you think, because I'm always interested to know. So, yeah. I wanna be the very